Hi, I'm Jordan Andrew Jefferson, and I'd like to take a moment and talk to you if I may. To those I know and to those I love, to those who love me, I thank you. To those who I don't know, maybe you're just finding this video, it's been shared. Also, thank you for watching. Yeah. So, what I want to talk to you about is something that's been going on for quite a while that up until recently I've not felt the need to address at all. But, however, I recently heard something that made me go, no, what? It made my stomach churn. And it made me go, that's not true at all. And that is serious and definitely needs to be addressed. So I thought I would address it here. But also, in addressing this one thing, I now realize that there's no better time than to tell the entire story that has gotten us this far. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to talk to you for a bit. I'll start at the beginning, out of love, share everything that I know, and when I get to the end, I'll stop, and together we can open up the doors for conversation, vulnerability, uh, and just create a space where dialogue can be fluid. So many of you might know me as being a musician. It's what I've been doing my entire life. Probably from the moment I was one, two, three, four, just writing songs, singing songs, performing music in multiple capacities. Be it with a band or a solo artist. But in 2016, I developed what is called and most commonly known as tinnitus or tinnitus. I call it tinnitus. It is the a harsh and extreme noise in the ear that I hear that you do not. 24/7, the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. And unfortunately, with the tinnitus, I now have rather sensitive hearing, along with a myriad of other ear and chronic issues. And those immediately had me stepping away from performing music in a live capacity. And then not long after, I had to step away from writing as well, recording, and everything that I knew changed. And then I decided to try stand up comedy. And it wasn't a replacement for music. I don't think anything really will and should replace your first love. I still appreciate music in a great deal as a listener on a wide spectrum. But as a way to perform and release energy in a very healthy way, comedy became an incredible avenue for me. And it was great, a lot of fun. So in 2021, however, after being involved with a group in town here that does comedy, let's see, no, in January of this year, is it? So, yes, January of this year, I was removed from a private Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group where the leaders of said organization will communicate to those who are, I suppose, uh, you know, under their jurisdiction or what have you, or though and they'll communicate ideas and say what their plans are and so on and so forth. So it's cool, whatever. But in January of this year, I noticed that I was removed from that group, and that not long after, I was notified that a message had been written about me, one of which I had no access to view, nor an access to, I wouldn't say rebuttal, to argue, not that, but to simply respond matter of factly and lovingly. My case, and unable to have that avenue, others were jumping on and rumors and assumptions and outright lies and it just became overwhelming. The things that I was hearing were being said, but wasn't privy to the access of these things. Eventually, someone shared with me the initial message that was written about me, and I thought it would be nice to respond here. I've not really felt the need to be honest with you, for the past year, because I think this has really been going on for about a year. While the message was written in January, I haven't really felt the need to until I heard this thing recently that made my stomach churn. Like I mentioned, it just made me sick to imagine that this was being said of me, which I will get to that. But starting with all the things that were written about me in this message, what have I written? I've written a few notes, so if you don't mind, I'll read along. Let's say I was shut out of the conversation. I couldn't defend myself. I mentioned that. I didn't really care to defend myself because here's the thing: those who know me, they know me, and those who don't know me and haven't taken the time to get to know me, well, you know, I don't think I'll ever change your mind. I don't see how I could if you're not taking the initiative to um, stay open and even keel and give you and I the opportunity to get to know one another. So it's whatever. You have the right to exist, as do I, and I wish you all the best. That being said, those who know me, I have no doubt in my mind, know me and trust and appreciate and nurture just as I try to trust and nurture and appreciate them. Uh, you know, so the first thing I heard that was written in this message, right, that this person of this group had written about me. I'm kind of gonna go in order, just as it was written about me. The first thing was that I tried to sleep with this person's sister, little sister, and the way that went about was I did notice this person's sister as much as I noticed anyone else, not in the capacity that I would, critique people that I meet on my interest in sleeping with them. Just they're a human being. Cool, nice to see you, nice to meet you, nice to hang out. So, it got to the point where this person that I was doing comedy with, their sister would hang out also. And then it got to the point where this person's sister and I would also be hanging out with this person. So the three of us in a myriad of situations when we were hanging out. And I still didn't think twice, but one evening after hanging out, I woke up the next day to, yeah, their sister had pursued me on a dating app. So now my brain went, oh, well, okay, cool. I wonder if I could see them in such a way. I don't know, but, I don't know now, don't know yet. But I don't mind saying hello, so I wrote, funny seeing you here, and we started talking about everything from Italian food to movies to just about anything and everything one can talk about in a day and a half. And we decided that we were going to hang out at the open mic this group was having in a couple of days. All right, cool, no sweat. And in the interim, though, I had a gig with this group that was not the open mic the day before the open mic with a couple of out of town performers and I did my thing and it was fun. It was whatever. Excuse me. And after the show, I went to this person, not the sister, but I went to this person and I said, hey, I want to let you know that tomorrow night at the open mic, your sister's coming as she normally does, but she and I have decided that we would like to sit together and hang out and, let that be that. At least for one night. And this person said, Well, no, you're not going to do that. And I was just like, well, whatever. Excuse me. I was just like, whatever. I mean, okay. I mean, I still have an interest in doing that, and your sister does, so okay, cool. Have a very good night. Thanks for putting me on the show. And I left. Well, actually, they were like, hey, do you want to come to this bar with us? No, I left because, A, the bar's not really my scene where they were going. And I just didn't feel like being around that person who would, I don't know, I just didn't feel right. So I split. It's okay. I split. I went to a bar that I wanted to go to. I hung out, had some drinks with people that I felt appreciated by, and it was really great. It was a lot of fun. Later that night, however, that group did in fact come to the bar where I was, and immediately the energy was just thick and just aggressive. And I was like, "Oh, this is something." Okay. Well, anyways, why didn't you come to the bar with us? I don't know. I'm not. Whatever. It's all good. We're living. You live. I live. But this person went downstairs, and as things echo, I heard them talking about me, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize you took this so personal. I guess saying to you, I mean, I hear you, but I don't have to listen to you. Maybe it's in front of the people that you were with, or just in general, or whatever. But that was that. I didn't really, again, think much of it because I'm secure in myself, and I, did what I wanted to do, and I didn't hurt anyone. And then I left. When I felt like it was time to get home, so I would get home safely. I left, and I was talking to another friend of mine, and I was saying, "Well, you won't believe what happened tonight. This is wild." And when you're sending voice memos on an iPhone or any phone for that matter, and one slip of the finger, and it went to the wrong message, and before I knew it, I had sent a message to this person. Yeah, that was an accident. But like I always say, don't say something about someone you wouldn't want them to hear in the first place. And yeah, there you go. They heard it and they were not satisfied. They were not happy. They were very angry. And rightfully so. I was drunk and might have said a few, um, I don't know. We both might have been very inconsiderate to one another's feelings. She to they to I, and I to them. So the next morning, I woke up and I apologized, sent a message like, "I'm sorry about that. I really hope that you understand, and if you don't, I understand. And I will see you tonight at the open mic, and we will have fun." And that was that. Immediately, I wrote this person's sister and I said, "I couldn't have imagined that your sibling would have taken this so you and I hanging out so." Um, I couldn't have imagined they would have taken it as they had. So I'm going to tell you and say I don't think it's best if we hang out because I don't want to cause a rift. Right? What's the word? A rift between you and your sibling. And tonight we will see one another. We'll wave from a distance, and that will be that. And peace will be granted to you, and you to I, and I to you. And we will see one another someday, some way in a town of 54,000 people, I am certain. But for now, we're not hanging out. And she agreed, and when we moved on, and that was pretty much all that happened there. Okay, the next thing, I was banned from a restaurant. I've never. That was another thing that was written about me. I'm going in order. Remember? Well, I've never been banned from a restaurant in this town or anywhere in the world. What did happen? Actually, something did happen. Is I was asked, and for those of you who know me and have known me long enough, you know that I went through a very unexpected, on my part, breakup after a very, what I consider to be long term relationship. 8, 9 years, and just a immediate whirlwind of just things for my brain and consciousness to process. And No matter how much you meditate or hang out, you can still lose your mind, and that's what I did. I wrote about it on Facebook, on Instagram. I talked about it publicly because that's all I've ever known to do, is just to talk about it, because keeping it in is the worst thing that I could possibly do. So I shared it, and you all saw it. And some of you responded, some of you didn't, and that's okay. I released that energy, and I was a better person because of it. But that doesn't mean I always acted like I should have, or rather, in the best interest of myself and those around me. And one day I was in a restaurant, and I might have acted like an idiot. Okay, I acted like an idiot, and my ex was there with someone else, and I yeah, yeah. Well, the point being is, this restaurant, while not kicking me out, did say, "Hey, would you do me a favor? Just be cool, and just don't come in when she's here." And I said, "You know what? I understand. I get it. I get it." And so I didn't go in when she was there, and I complied. And in the interim, I got over my ex. Cool. Okay, fantastic. Whatever. They have a right to. I have a right to, and we all have a right to. We just got to learn to be cool, and that's what happened. And and that's fine. I suppose if this Huntington, if this group, excuse me, that does comedy in Huntington, if they choose not to associate with me because of something I did in the past, and they go, well, that's not a look that we would like to have on us today. Yeah, okay, do your thing. I am not here to tell you what you can and cannot do. I will say that holding me today at the standards of when I was at my absolute worst. While I'm while I'm clearly a different person now. Again, those who wish to nurture and get involved in my life and allow me to nurture them in return, that's where I'm at now. So, you know, if you had had an issue with me, you could have come to me and said, "Look, we're friends, and because I care about you and I care about your well-being as much as they do mine, you're doing a look that's not good, and I don't like it, and I want to talk to you because I care about you." But that never happened. What really happened was the business that asked me not to come in when my ex was there, but welcomed any other time. I eventually said, "Hey, could I do a show there?" Actually, back in January of this year, could I do a show there? And the very person who called me and said, "Hey, man, just be cool. Don't come in when she's here," was the very person who said, "Oh, well, this we, on behalf of the business, would love to work with you. I'm on your side. Let's do this." And it was, and we booked and planned an incredible show. So the business and I even apologized to the business, and we had a great conversation because, you know, you got to look with people between the eyes at some point and just go, "I get it, but I respect you, and I'd still like your respect." And that mutual respect has been identified. So where are we at? My list. Oh, this is a comedy thing. I booked a show. I booked two shows in venues where they've booked shows before. I mean, look, I guess that's a comedy thing. I've done music all my life, it's not that way in music, so I didn't think it would be that way in comedy, and no one ever told me. So this is only of interest to you if you're a comedian. But that's that. I didn't know. Moving on. Um, oh yeah, I had booked two shows, is what it had come down to, for an organization that I believe in. I really do believe in a lot of organizations, and my hopes were to benefit not one but two and three and four, and just give my time and my talents and my energy in booking successful shows for the community, because I had done one previously that went off without a hitch. It was beautiful, flawless. It was a lot of fun, but it was a paid show where people paid to get in, and the money went to you know performers and to, and I did. That's fine, but where I'm at now is I don't know. Let's give to the community. Let's just do this because we can and give back. So I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna do this. So I reached out to this organization. Wow, we'd be so stoked if you represented us. Thank you. And I went to a restaurant and I said, hey, can I host my event there? Yeah, we'd love to work with you. Thank you. And then this organization that I'm speaking of intervened and said, you don't want to work with him. And began to tell things that were not true about me. Now, they may think they're true. This organization may think they're true. They may not. They may just enjoy saying things. The fact of the matter is, I know as an individual, they're not true. And that's why I'm making this video, just to create that dialogue. Because when I was shut out of this private group on Facebook, where this group had made this post, I didn't get a chance to, again, create that avenue for communion, for conversation. And that's why I'm doing this here. But the initial business, not the one that I was talking about earlier, um, gave me another reason why they couldn't have the show. And I was told from someone else, listen, if you hear it being about this reason, well, it's not. The truth of the matter is this. And I said, well, I had my suspicions, of course. Apparently, people are terrified to look someone in the eyes and have a real conversation. I am not. I reached out to, the business, heard nothing back. I reached out to these people, that I'm mentioning from the organization, from which I was a member of, and the I got brief messages, and I don't think the messages they sent back were of the same respect of which I was giving them. You know, just the conversation was not fluid. Okay, so there's the first business then, and that was in the fall of last year. Second business was January of this year, and both were shut down in as much, even as I don't think the group wrote the second business because, I mean, the business wanted me, as much as I wanted them. So they, in turn, on the second go around, wrote the organization themselves, saying, you don't want to work with this guy, and this is why. But we'll take the show. So the show did not happen, not with myself, nor with the organization that I'm speaking of. And I heard it wasn't going to happen with this organization, and I'm fine with that. The organization that I was planning to work with, we are just fine, and that is okay. There will be a time, and it will be cool. What else? So they said, hey, we've heard these things, and we no longer feel comfortable having you a part of our organization because you are doing your own thing and you're booking where we book, and we don't like it. As well as, the things I mentioned previously. And so they said, you are not, once I inquired, because they didn't talk to me, they just stopped, having me involved. And I had to seek out and go, yo, what's going on? Let's have a real conversation. But then they were like, all right, fine. Since you're asking, you're not no longer performing with us at our open mics. And I was like, well, okay, that's fine. They never said I couldn't show up at the open mics. Gosh, excuse me. So the thing is, I would go to the open mics because I had friends at the time that were still performing with this group, and I go where I'm nurtured. I go where I feel cool. I go where I hang out. I go, whatever. So going someplace where 4 or 5 people don't like me, that's never really intimidated me at all, ever. But I would go and sit where my friends were sitting. I like to get out of the house. I like to have fun. I don't have to perform to have fun. I'm just going to hang out. But one of the claims was that I would go and I would heckle from the front row. And I have, and I quote, literally hours That's it. Literally hours of footage of them. I don't. If I picked up my phone to text my brother and you thought, oh my God, he's filming us, well, that shows where your head is, not what's actually happening. And I would just go and sit where my friends were. I don't know. Again, okay, that's that. So then another thing that was mentioned in that message was, but you've got to understand, he's banned from a bar. Banned from a bar. I am not banned from any bar. I've never been banned from any bar. Most bars love me, and I love most bars. But the truth is, I've not been banned from any bar. Um, I've heard, oh, he's been banned because he's chasing college girls and harassing college girls out of the bar. Well, that's not. That isn't true, and I can tell you that right now. Here's the story. I've not been banned from any bar. Here's a story. I suppose there's, here's the story as I know it. I've not been banned from any bar. Um, there is in fact one bartender at said bar that will not serve me. Every other bartender will serve me, and has served me, and as far as I know, has continued to serve me. It is a bar that I will go to when I feel like going there, and I will, and I do. One bartender, story goes like this. I went in one night about 3 years ago, I think it was, and it was on a Saturday night. And this bartender was like, hey, actually, they weren't like that at all. I was like, hey. and I noticed they weren't serving me. Prior to that, the bartender had bought me shots. It was cool. We had a cool conversation. And that night, they were not serving me. Been there 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and I noticed they're just skipping over me. Well, there's more than one way to get a buzz. So I had a joint in my sock, and I was hanging out with some new friends, and I was like, hey, you guys want to step outside and smoke this joint with me? So we did just that, and it was cool. Heading back in, I know the beer I drink there, it's $2, and I wanted to leave $1 for the bar, so I handed one of my friends at the time that I was hanging out with $3. I said, hey, I gotta go piss. Could you lay three down, give me this beer, one for the bar, two for the beer. And I said, sure, no problem. So I went to the bathroom, came back, the person handed me the beer, I'm drinking. Gotta get a drink somehow, right? Anyways, then after I finished that beer, the people I was hanging out with were like, hey, do you want to go somewhere else? And I was like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I can hang out here. I can hang anywhere. But they were like, we want to go somewhere else. I was like, whatever. That's fine. I'm on foot. So if you can get me there, we can go. And that was that. And we left. Uh, it was a great night from what I remember. But here's the thing. I'm safely Ubering home around 3 in the morning. And I get a message on Facebook, and it says, it's the bartender. And they say, do not ever come back in the bar when I am working. And I was like, well, all right, that's fair. Can you explain what's going on? And she was like, don't you ever, ever come in here and tell my patrons about my personal life and my personal stuff. And I was like, well, hey, I didn't do that. Don't run them off. I didn't. They left and because they wanted to. And I went with them because that's how I wanted to. And well, that's that. So there's that story. It's the end of that, I guess. What else? Okay, cool. That's kind of the gist of what that message was about. I'm harassing people. That isn't true. None of that. Not harassing any fellow comics. I'm not. I'm not harassing anyone in town. And any time that I did do that was, with a very dramatic and on. It was just not my best time. But it thankfully didn't last, and it's not where I'm at now. So I appreciate those of you who have stood by me and see me for who I am now. and also see me for who I was before all that happened, and even saw the good in me as that was happening. Thank you. Recently, however, unrelated to this post, I I I asked. There was an open mic happening for a special event, and I thought I'd sign up just for fun for for playing music. Thought I'd sing a song or two for old time's sake, not to damage my ears, but just to have a little fun. And this was just recently. And while heard that others were still getting time, I was told that there was no time for me. Um, you know, I have no proof that it's about this, but you know, I don't know if it's connected. But in my experience, everything is kind of led back to this. So I thought it was worth mentioning. They were like, we have no time for you. Not on this event. Anyways, that's all fine and dandy. I've sat on this for, you know, quite a while. It's been happening a year, and it's been, I've been, unable to rebuttal, and any rebuttal I do try to give out of love and, out of pure consciousness and deeply rooted thought, not rushing an answer, has been shut down, and people are afraid to look me in the eyes and have a real conversation. Because, I don't know. That's been my last year. Okay. However, I was out recently, and I was chatting with someone, and just a really fun conversation. Beautiful, intimate, you know, kind of thing that I really dig into. And the conversation came up, hey, are you still working at the center with the kids? And for those of you who don't know, for 10 years I worked with kids, teaching and getting involved in changing lives, anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 year olds. Man, oh man, the greatest. If anything could and has rivaled music, this is it. I just, yeah, the parents, the kids, the whole bit means the absolute world to me. Um, and just the thing is, as you know, I have this chronic illness, tinnitus, and so Oh, hold on. Okay, so that night I'm at the bar. You still working with kids? Without explanation, I simply said no, I'm not. Moved on. I don't tell my life story, unless it felt right. And at that time, I said no, I'm not working with kids anymore. And we continued our conversation, and it was a lot of really, it was a lot of fun. Simple, whatever. It's fun, and we kept hanging out. At the end of the evening, I was like, "Hey, thanks for chatting with me. Would you like to hang out again sometime?" Yeah, they said I would, but I don't know, because I mean, I wasn't gonna mention this, but I've heard some things. Oh yeah, what's up? What have you heard? I heard that you're not working with the kids anymore because you, I suppose, got fired, or because I was touching them inappropriately. Whew, boy, that was a heavy one. I mean, I've heard a lot of things about me. I've chased college girls out of bars. That's not true. I know what I have done and what I haven't. And one thing I haven't done is inappropriately touched a child. And those kids mean the world to me. Just the way we help one another. But going back to my illness is, at the night, I was like, yo, that night at the bar, I was like, no way. Are you crazy? Where did you read that? It's somebody's Facebook wall. That's wild. I said, no, I have messages from between my boss and I that can show otherwise. Would you like to read them? No, I'm just going to go. No, okay. And that's kind of how it's been just about on everything. Not just this one issue about the kids, but it's on everything for the past year. And it's made it very difficult in me having a voice, getting involved, making friends, just I'm still here. I'm still going to be here. You can kick me out of your life, right? You can kick me out of your life, but you're not going to kick me out of the universe. And we all coexist in this universe together. And I'm here, and you're here. And it's a strange, beautiful thing. But with my job, I will tell you this: I have tinnitus, right? And I developed COVID. I developed COVID in the fall, no, in the summer of last year, and it hit me pretty hard, as it was hitting a lot of people around that time. But even more so, it hit me because my illness, my tinnitus, and I, after experiencing it firsthand, and then reading online and talking to others who have tinnitus, that COVID, ooh, it messed them up. It messed me up. My hearing was shot. My hearing was sensitive. Felt like I was in an airplane with the windows open and the pain and just the imbalance and the vertigo. And I was puking, dry heaving, really. The thing was, it hit me hard. And not only did I need to take time to quarantine from my COVID, but I needed extra time for my tinnitus to subside. And when my boss wanted me back to work, I was not ready to do that. And we both agreed it would be best if we part amicably, and we did. And it bummed me out because I missed the kids. But my hearing eventually got back to where it was before, the best it's going to be. And I applied at another center, and I got the job immediately. I passed the background check, and I went in, and I was excited to start my job. But unfortunately, the thing was, the sensitivity of my hearing was not capable of experiencing and being around that environment. So now working in childcare, however much it thrills my heart, is now no longer in my immediate future, and that's a bummer. But the truth is, I that's why I've never touched any child inappropriately, and to hear that, that's a that's a little heavy. And this has just been an ongoing thing. He's a rapist. He's touched children. He's harassing fellow comics. He's harassing women. I have messages to back up everything I've said. Conversations with anyone and everyone. And if you disagree with me, when you go, this guy is an asshole, share this video. Say your piece. But the conversation, the platform is open. If you want to show me love and say, I believe you and I understand, then I'm here for you, then that would be much appreciated too. I get a lot of love from those who do love me, and I know who you are, and so do you, and I thank you. I just wanted to really create an opportunity to, I know it's long, 40 minutes, wow. I just wanted to create an opportunity for this to be publicly addressed, because I care about a lot of you and the parents that I worked with and the kids that I still see out and who still hug me and love me. Before another word got to you, I wanted to speak to you first because I love and appreciate you. And if you want any sort of messages, whether I know you or not, my life, I'm open. I'm hanging out. It's all I know how to do. And so if you want to talk to me and you want to see anything, hit me up. I'm around. Where else are you going to go? Thanks for listening. I love you. Have a fantastic, I don't know, what is it, day or night for you? Have a fantastic, beautiful life.